So as some of you guys might have already seen by now, the Richmond Tigers made a decision that I thought was pretty obvious and was always going to be the decision they make, but a decision that has received a lot of hate online, and that actually happens to be them officially making Toby Nankervis the captain of the Richmond Football Club for the 4th season in a row, as well as giving him a pretty interesting leadership group that I also thought is where the Tigers were going to go, but apparently has led some Tigers fans to, again, talk a little bit of trash on the organisation and the team. Again, Richmond are not in a great spot in terms of winning games, but they are in a great spot in terms of winning for the future, because right now I would argue the Richmond Football Club could possibly have the best future in the AFL. They just had 7 pretty much first round picks in the last draft, 8 really solid picks, as well as having 2 first round picks in 2025, most likely both of them being top 5 picks, and an already established young core of players who are trying to prove themselves in the future, like a top 10 pick Josh Gibcus, like a top 20 pick in Tom Brown, like a couple good players like Seth Campbell, etc., right? The future for Richmond is going to be really interesting, because this is one of the first times that we have seen an AFL team, or pretty much is the first time ever, seen an AFL team who's not a foundation club stack through the AFL draft and have multiple first round picks. Again, in saying that the Tigers have this absolutely insane good young core, one thing that they've been really criticised on is the lack of leadership, in particular the player that they have as their captain in Toby Nankervis. Now, I think Toby Nankervis is a great player. In fact, I think he will probably arguably be Richmond's best player this season, but we do... Why are you licking me? Why is my dog Brady, go away, man. You're cock-blocking my video. Even though Toby Nankervis is a really good player, I think we can all agree that from what we've seen, he's probably not the best captain. Again, whether or not Toby Nankervis is an elite captain behind closed doors is something that we really don't know, because, well, again, I don't play for Richmond. I don't work at Richmond. I'm sure 99.999% of people who are watching this video probably don't. Again, I'm sure freaking, I don't know, someone from Richmond is watching this video. I don't know. Shout out to the I don't know, cleaner or something of the uniforms. But at the end of the day, Toby Nankervis has received a lot of hate, not because of his, role as a captain behind closed doors, but his role as a captain in the public eye, in the media. Most AFL captains, if not literally every single one of them, will have a meeting after the game, will do some social media presence, will be seen on the field giving directions, giving leadership, etc., But Toby Nankervis, he's never in the media. You rarely ever see interviews of this guy. I don't even think I've really seen a moment of him leading on the field. And of course, it has led a lot of Tiger fans to be very upset that they continue to go with him as the captain. Although I do understand that his presence outside of the club is by far the worst out of probably any captain, I actually still agree with them giving Toby Nankervis the captain role, just based on the fact is I don't know who else you are literally going to give it to. Again, the other players in the leadership group we're going to look at right now, one of them being Jaden Shaw. Again, some people were calling for him to be the captain, but we also got to remember, even though Jaden Shaw has been an elite player for Richmond for a very long time, there were games in 2024 where he wasn't even half the player he used to be, and towards the end of the season, he looked like he was in a bottom 6 bracket of the players that the Tigers were playing on the worst team in the game. That's how bad some of the footy he was playing was. Again, anytime he'd have the ball, he would just bomb it. There wouldn't be any strategy to his kicking. His defense work didn't look that great. Again, I know that performing on the field isn't always everything about being a captain, but again, Jaden Shaw's performances, you just can't have your captain playing the way that Shorty was towards the end of last year. Again, I really do hope he bounces back, and I think he will in 2025. I think he might have been battling with some injuries then, or again, some people say he's checked out. But again, you can't also give the captaincy to a guy who's checked out on the field. Tim Taranto is the other guy like that. A lot of people are calling for Tim Taranto to be the captain. But what we got to realize is Tim Taranto was, other than the 4 players who got traded and signed with other teams, Tim Taranto was by far the most checked out outside of those guys at the end of the year. He literally just looked like he didn't want to be there anymore. And it was a really bad effort, especially towards the end of the year. He really did look like he was checked out, and you just can't give the captaincy to a guy who was checked out. Tom Lynch also has 184 different injuries to deal with. He was another guy that they've put in the leadership group that you just can't give captain because he doesn't even play. And then the final one, Nathan Broad, who I thought actually might have been a contender. His leadership skills reportedly over the last 2 years have developed into being apparently one of the best on the team. Again, he got added to the leadership group this year. He even got trusted to take Sam Lawler, the pick one, in to his house and of course show him the ways of, living by himself, and of course getting to training, and of course setting the standards there. The only thing I think why Nathan Broad didn't get it is that Nathan Broad has never been in the leadership group before. He wasn't a vice captain with the Tigers previously, and yeah, it just seems like he's a very big late bloomer. Again, he's in his 30s now. I don't think they were ever going to give him the captaincy with a lot of those reasons that you kind of take into it. I think the Tigers like a guy who plays in the midfield, of course, as their captain. Trent Cotchin did it so well. Kane Johnson years and years ago wasn't that bad either. Again, Toby Nankervis, he's not a midfielder, but he's in the midfield as a ruckman. Again, he moves all the way around the ground. I just think I really am struggling to kind of see, well, who would be the, captain of the Richmond Football Club? Who would you have picked if it wasn't Toby Nankervis? And I legitimately just think that there wasn't really any other option. I think that Toby Nankervis was the guy, and he probably will be the guy for another year or two, unless Tim Taranto just breaks out as a player, doesn't check out, and shows some really good leadership qualities. Then yeah, Tim Taranto could be the captain next season, and for the future after that, until a guy like Smiley or Lawler, who reportedly have great captain attributes, develops and maybe gets the chance to do that. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys agree with my opinions on this? Do you guys think the captaincy should have gone to, Toby Nankervis, or should it have gone to someone else? Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channels, MIRL/Long channel, and this channel if you haven't already. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.